Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town for this Tuesday, February 8th. I'm Gary Stevens. It is the second Tuesday of the month, which means in our segment, this half hour, we spotlight what's going on at the Holland Museum with its Executive Director, Ricki Levine, and the Education and Community Programs Manager, Michelle Stempien. They join us on the Zoom connection this morning. Ladies, good morning. And in case with you, Ricki, Happy New Year. Glad you're back with us.
Good morning, Gary. Thanks for having us once again. It's good to see you.
Good to see both of you. As the old line would say, it's good to be seen. But anyway, plenty going on at the museum. Let's do a nuts and bolts right off of the bat. When is the museum open? What hours? And we got something coming up this coming Monday. And finally, we can talk about it ahead of time instead of, you just missed out on it.
That's why I wanted to be here this segment this month, Gary, to celebrate that. So the hours of the museum, the regular hours are Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. We're open from 10 to 5. And then the second Monday of every month, we're open in the evening from 4 to 7 for free. There's no admission in those 3 hours. And the next second Monday, drum roll, is next Monday, February 14th. And we've got a special program because, of course, that's Valentine's Day. And I'd love Michelle to share a little bit about what's happening that evening.
Sure. So next Monday, as Ricki mentioned, is Valentine's Day. So we are having a History Lovers Date Night, and that is from 4 to 7, and it is free. It's a program for everyone. I mean, come by yourself, come with a friend, come with a significant other, come with your family. It's for everybody. So we will have some Valentine themed crafts that you can do. You can visit our Spark Lab and do some creativity and be an inventor. And then we also have a History Lovers scavenger hunt. So you can go around our museum and look for Valentine's themed objects in our galleries. We're going to be looking mostly for interesting couples in our galleries. So it's really going to be fun. And as we said, it's free and it's for everyone. So come down and see us.
And the way the calendars worked out the first 2 months, Michelle and Ricki, last month on the second Monday, it was ahead of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And now it's Valentine's Day on the second Monday. I don't think you guys could have planned the calendar any better than that. Now,
it does work out well.
It does. One other thing, and Michelle, you touched upon this Spark Lab. There is something special, seasonal for Spark Lab that's going on right now. Tell us all about it.
We do have our activities in the Spark Lab are seasonal. So you can come in and design your own snowflake and see how it stands up to our vertical wind tunnel. And you can build a pair of shoes that will help you survive snowy winter conditions, which is our Shaping Shoes Invention Challenge. And then you can invent a winter vehicle using Legos and race it down our sledding hill. So we have a sort of a sleds and slope steam activity. So those are all available in the Spark Lab to experiment and create with. We won't be switching things over until about early April, and then we'll have more of a spring-themed activities going on in the Spark Lab. So the Spark Lab is open every Monday and Friday from 1 to 5, and then every Saturday from 11 to 3.
One other thing, too, about the Holland Museum, of course, located on 10th and River in downtown Holland. If you plan to attend, be it one of the regular events or to attend on this second Monday of the month coming up, mask up, because all visitors need to be wearing their masks while inside the Holland Museum, at least for the foreseeable future. One of the most successful or more successful exhibits that the Holland Museum had put up was the one spotlighting Latin Americans United for Progress and their impact in our community. But Ricki, we do have a new exhibit. It involves James Cook and it involves Native Americans. Tell us all about it.
I am so thrilled about this exhibit, Gary. It's something that we've been working on for a while. James Cook is a local photographer. He lives in Saugatuck now, but he comes from Colorado. And for over 4 decades, he has worked with indigenous peoples all over North America and photographing them. But he becomes immersed with the community. He gets and obtains trust from the people that he works with. So when he captures a photograph, not only is he capturing a beautiful moment in time, but he's also capturing their story. And he shares that in this exhibit as well. So it's the photograph and it's the backstory of his relationship and what he was able to ascertain from his subjects. It's just beautiful.
Ricki, is it a case of looking at tribes nationwide, or did he sort of spotlight tribes that were in this part of the world before the Europeans came in several centuries ago?
Actually, both. He has traveled all over the United States, also Canada. So he's taken pictures of different peoples from all over. But he has concentrated in his last, he's been in the Saugatuck area, West Michigan area for about 15 years, 16 years, I think. And he has spent quite a bit of time with our local communities. And so some of those are highlighted in this exhibit beautifully. So some of the local people that lived in Holland are in this exhibit. So it ties into this location as well as indigenous people all over.
We are, I wouldn't say learning, but we are continuing to learn about how our Native Americans lived before the Europeans came in, and the stereotypes of the teepee and some of the other stereotypes are going away, not only with the fact that certain tribes live certain ways and certain tribes live other ways, but certain tribes adapted to their climate and their situations and really made the most of what was at hand so that they could survive in sometimes very harsh and hostile situations.
Yeah, they were very adaptive. I mean, they lived here for generations before the Europeans came. And you're right. Every location had different customs, partially because of the environment they were living in, partially because of things that they learned or obtained knowledge through the generations. And it's a fascinating look into people that are human beings, just like anybody else, and the way they live their lives. And in some cases, those customs still continue or have been reinvigorated by a lot of the peoples in those communities.
One other thing as well is sometimes people look at a work of art, be it a sculpture or be it a painting, and they stare at it for hours and looking for little nuances and little things that maybe the artist wanted to convey. Is that the same thing with photographs as well? People looking for maybe a shade or an angle in the photograph itself?
Well, I'm not a photographer by profession. I do it for fun. But yeah, I believe that's true. I believe, it's capturing a moment and seeing how you can best reflect that in your work. It is a piece of art. And in these photographs in particular, and Jim also does landscape, which is a whole nother genre that he works in and does some beautiful work. But he takes photographs of these people, some of them in Western clothing, some of them are in their native regalia, and the beadwork and the intricacy in some of those pieces are just stunning pieces of art. So it's a piece of art is part of the process that you can see in this exhibit.
The exhibit, which is Contemporary Portraits of Native Americans by James Cook. How long is the exhibit going to run, Ricki?
That's running into June. So you have time. It just opened last week. So there's programs involved with this exhibit. And again, Michelle can go into those in much more detail. We have one this week that you don't want to miss.
Let's talk a little bit about Michelle Stempien. The program's coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, so this Thursday, that's at 7:00, and this program will be on Zoom. Jim, the artist, photographer, we were just talking about, whose works are on view at the Holland Museum, will be talking. It'll be one of the first of 2 talks. Jim has had such a long and distinguished career we felt we couldn't put that all into one program. So this first program, he will be really talking about many of the people that he's built these relationships with from these various Indigenous communities, and how he builds those relationships, how he takes the time and spends time with them, getting to know them, and again, earning their trust. So we'll be talking about that, but he'll also be talking about his photographic process and how he makes these beautiful images. So he'll be talking sort of more in general, sort of an overview of his work and his career. His second talk on the 24th will go into more specific projects, including his photography at Wounded Knee. So this Thursday is the first of two, again, and it starts at 7 o'clock. It is on Zoom. To register for the program, you need to go to the Holland Museum website, onto our events page. And there will be a link on the page for Thursday's program to Eventbrite to register for the program, and it is free. And then you will get the Zoom link by email before the program.
One other event I want to touch upon before we take a break, Michelle, is sort of sandwiched in between the two conversations with Mr. Cook, and it deals with a topic that February is part of. February being Black History Month. Extraordinary Black Inventors STEAM program. Tell us all about it.
Yes, this will be a family program on Saturday, February 19th. It's from 1 to 3. It is included with museum admission. So come down and see us, and you will learn about famous inventors of color who have changed our world. So we will be reading a story, Have You Thanked an Inventor Today? And also learn about some of these really significant inventors that maybe you have never heard about before. And you'll be able to participate in a scavenger hunt because we have some of these inventions actually in our galleries. So then you'll be able to learn more about our galleries, but also about these inventors and what they have done to contribute to our world. And then, of course, explore in Spark Lab and create some of your own inventions.
Last month, we were looking forward to a good fundraiser for the Holland Museum, but unfortunately, health protocols had a different idea. So Museum on Tap has been rescheduled until June the 3rd, but as Ricki will tell us about a virtual fundraiser coming up next month about a Holland institution that some, shall we say, overlook, Ricki, because, we think about tulips, we think about wooden shoes. We don't necessarily think about the Holland Bowl Mill and its history in our area.
Yes, that's true. So this is our third virtual fundraiser. We started doing these last year because of COVID, and they've really taken off and really fits into our mission. We're calling this series Preserving Our Stories. And what we do is we highlight a local business who's been around for generations and the story of the family-owned business and how it impacts the community and how the community impacts that business. And this one, The Wooden History of the Holland Bowl Mill, which will be on March 24th, is about the Holland Bowl Mill, which a lot of people don't realize the owners first owned the Wooden Shoe Company. And that was part of their process and evolution, because as the Wooden Shoe Company, they were selling wooden bowls from a bowl mill that was in Muskegon. And ultimately, they took over the bowl mill, brought it to Holland. And for a number of reasons that you will find out by watching this fundraiser and participating, they decided that the Wooden Shoe Company was no longer a viable option, but the bowl mill was. And they have sold and sell bowls, handmade, crafted, gorgeous pieces of art, but usable art all over the world. And it's a fascinating story. It's a fascinating story about the family and their origins and how they work together and how they have transformed this business to be one of the only bowl mills in the world.
And certainly the producers of the Discovery program of several years ago, How It's Made, they came to the Holland Bowl Mill to show how they actually put one of those bowls together. A very fascinating story. And again, it's coming up in terms of the fundraiser on March 24th. We've talked about a lot of good things going on at the museum. Some are exhibits, some are special events, a fundraiser as well. And you can be part of the fun at the museum by being a member of the museum. So what levels do we have and what benefits come with membership with the museum, Ricki?
Well, we have 3 levels, very affordable levels. And you could start off at a basic level, $35 for an individual, but that individual can bring a guest every single time they come to the museum. So it's basically for 2. $50 is a family membership, and that includes 2 adults and children under 17. And a lot of family memberships have increased now that we've reopened Spark Lab again, because that's so family oriented. And then a premium level is $125. And with that, you get 4 adults and children under 17. And then you're a member of the NARM, which is the North American Reciprocal Museum Program, which allows you entrance without admission to many, many, many museums all over North America. So go to Chicago and you will save a lot of dollars for not having to pay admission to many of the museums there, for instance. And all of the memberships get perks. You get discounts in the gift shop. You get invitations to our member opening, like we opened the exhibit last week for members before it was open to the public. So you get to meet the artist and you get to enjoy a reception as well as get the first peek at our special exhibits. So there's lots of wonderful ways to support, and that's just one of them.
For more information about what's going on at the Holland Museum online, the website is hollandmuseum.org. That's hollandmuseum.org. And the phone number for the museum, and they'll staff it during open hours, 616-796-3329, 616-796-3329. And I don't want to forget this, even though we don't have much time to talk about it. Volunteers are always needed at the Holland Museum. And if you wish to volunteer, more information is also on the webpage at hollandmuseum.org. Ricki Levine, Michelle Stempien. Ricki is the executive director. Michelle is the education and community programs manager. We appreciate both of you ladies for joining us today on WHTC's Talk of the Town. Wish everybody at the museum well over the next month. And if all goes well, let's do this again next month, shall we?
Sounds good. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you very much, Ricki Levine and Michelle Stempien on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.